Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to, I can't believe it, and the sun's shining, March's Market Update 2026. It's myself, Ron Cole, here with my colleague, Roberto Argenio, who's just returned from a wet week in the Cotswolds and has told us all about it. So, Rob, welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So let's get straight into it, Rob. Sun shining. So far in the last, I think, 3 weeks, we've seen 45, 50 valuations. What's the general feeling of the public looking at coming to market? I mean, we've seen some interesting bits come, quite some a good amount of stock to come to market too in the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks. What's going on so far for valuation and property in the March market?
Well, I mean, March has definitely sprung into action now. The level of valuations that we're seeing at the moment is in my opinion, is quite high. I think we've got an uplift of probably closer to 15% more vals, I think, than we've seen this time last year.
Yeah.
Great variation, lots of different types of properties coming to market. Some of the larger properties that you'd expect this time of year to start coming through. We're seeing those in the diaries now, so we're having some really constructive conversations with lots of sellers at the upper ends of the markets.
Mm.
Middle part of the market, very, very active. I think leasehold maisonettes, flats, still a bit of a struggle there. I think there's a lot of intent to want to sell, but market's still being a bit price sensitive. But middle market, very, very busy, and that seems set to continue. I mean, the week moving forward is very, very busy. We're booking vals well into next week as well as. So yeah, I think there's a good appetite to sell and move in 2026.
Okay, that's very, very interesting stuff, Rob. I think we were talking earlier about the level of applicants that we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think that's probably one for you, Ron. I mean, what have you seen in the way of up demand and inquiries?
Yeah, I think inquiries-wise, it's led by a couple of things. It's led by the need to purchase, which there is always a need to purchase in St Albans. We've just
Mm.
very recently seen the local GCSE results released, and we've got schools again and again in the top 150. Some excellent levels
Mm.
of results that have come out, which really does bolster property prices. I think the other thing, apart from property need, is we're getting back to that really great level of first-time buyers trying to breach into market, and
Mm.
absolutely in the last 2 weeks, there's been some different news in marketplace. We've seen that there is maybe a few lenders that have put their interest rates up, and they'll sort of try and describe that going back to swap rates, or the issue is in the Straits of Hormuz, or this issue and that issue. What really hasn't changed is that if we look at the mortgage rates today, they're pretty similar to where they were 3 or 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and lots of first-time buyers are really jumping on that. But I'd always say with regards to things like rates, do talk to us, talk to BHM, are very, very good financial services partners. But yeah, Rob, I've got to say, as far as applicant levels, both sellers getting to market and looking locally, and we see that, which is a wonderful thing about the area that we work in. Lots of local moves, people
Mm.
coming to the area. But yeah, first time buyer market, very, very strong, and is only sort of held back by the amount of stock that's to market for them to purchase.
Mm.
Talking about that, Rob, over the next couple of weeks, we've got some interesting bits coming to market. I think we've got some cottages coming to market, some that need work in something like Spencer Street. We've got a Cavendish Road coming to market. What kind of prices are we achieving against asking price on stock like that?
The relationship between offer and asking is actually very, very good within a couple of percent, literally. I think the driver with that though really is the sensitivity within the market itself. Good quality stock that's well priced and is being well received by buyers. I think with technology nowadays, sometimes it can be taken for granted that buyers are very, very often finger on pulse, and they're out viewing a lot of properties. They know what
Mm.
prices should look like. So I think it's a little bit tougher in these sorts of markets to add these bigger premiums that sometimes we've been able to enjoy. So I think good quality housing in decent locations at the right price are achieving what they set out to achieve. There's very little difference between offer and asking if the price is right.
So what you're saying there, Rob, is the right property on the right road at the right price is going to sell for a strong price in a very reasonable market. Would that be sort of a decent summation of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there has been a slight retraction in prices. I don't think that's necessarily easy to disguise, but I think buyers
Mm.
there's still a very much a good demand. That's the thing. The intent is still there, and I've said
Mm.
it for many, many years. The British market is a standalone one-off, nothing like it in the world. If people can afford the monthly payment, they're comfortable with job security. they then aspire to buy. So I think the transaction levels haven't changed particularly. We're still quite strong on that side. I think buyers are
Mm.
just a little bit more cute as to what they should be spending and why. So I think, yeah, good advice to sellers, backed up by evidence. Market's healthy. There's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't achieve what they set out to achieve.
So look, Rob, next time we speak will be after Easter. You'll have
Mm,
put on a few pounds in Easter egg
no
consumption,
doubt.
as you do
Yep.
every year. Got a few hot cross buns down you as well. So look, we look forward to catching up in April and having a really, really successful end to March 2026. So thank you very much indeed.